Hey everyone, Asheville Car Accident lawyer Lakota Denton. I'm riding around on my one wheel here through around downtown Asheville, and I want to talk to you about some of the reasons why I chose to practice law in Asheville. I actually grew up in Massachusetts and moved to Asheville around 2006 and have been practicing law here for about 12 years. There's a lot of reasons I want to practice law in Asheville and I want to live in Asheville. I think first is the town itself is such an easy place to live. It's an easy place to get around. I actually ride my one wheel like this from my office into town. I ride it to court, ride it to the bank, the post office, all that stuff. And it's so easy to get in and out of downtown Asheville. Another reason is the food is so good in Asheville. Like, it's just such a great place to live. The restaurants are so good. It's so competitive. So every time there's a new restaurant that opens, you can kind of trust it's going to be really good, because if it's not really good, they're probably not going to make it, unfortunately. But it gives us really good choices of places to go, and love just going to lunch in different places in downtown Asheville. Sometimes, in between court hearings or before court, I just zip over on my one wheel and find a good place downtown. So I love that. I have two kids, and living in Asheville is really good. I have two boys, an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and it's such a great place to raise kids. There's a lot of rivers, there's a lot of mountains, there's a lot of hiking, a lot of outdoor scene. My older boy loves fishing, and so we're always out looking for rivers and lakes and places to fish. It's just a really easy place to get kids outside and get them out of the house. All the restaurants and breweries tend to have outdoor spaces where you can play and eat and drink, and it makes it easy to bring kids out of the house. I think, in my interactions as an attorney, I really appreciate the people in Asheville, mostly my clients and people I've met who need my help. And when people come to me looking for help, if they've been hurt in a car accident in Asheville, or maybe hurt as a pedestrian in Asheville, the people are really genuine, they're really authentic, and they're honestly looking for help. They're not trying to trick me, they're not trying to make something up that isn't true about their case. They're not trying to exaggerate what they have going on. People are genuinely wanting help. People are genuinely scared and a little confused after they've been in a car accident, and they come see me, and they're really appreciative of the help I'm able to give them. So the people in Asheville have made it really nice to live and work here. I think another thing that I like about Asheville is I kind of like the juries. When I pick a jury to try a case, the people that you meet are a true cross-section of who we have in Asheville and in Buncombe County. And you get a huge range of people. And that's not always true in other places in North Carolina, like in cities or in some of the smaller towns. In Asheville, you'll get some people that have lived here their entire life and have never moved. You'll get some people that moved here yesterday from Chicago or California or Florida. You'll get people who have very professional, very high-paying jobs. You'll get some people that do odd jobs and work for themselves. You'll get artists, you get a lot of teachers, and a lot of people work in healthcare. And it's a huge variety of people, and it makes the jury selection interesting, and it makes it interesting putting a case on in front of people like that, because there's a lot of different opinions, a lot of different people to think about. I think in some other places, you get jurors who all tend to think the same, tend to kind of act the same, and that is definitely not true in Asheville. You have such a wide range of people. Another thing I like about practicing in Asheville is that it's a big enough city that you don't always see people that and you don't always have friends in common with people that you meet. Like, when a new client comes in, I usually don't really know them or anyone that they know. But it's small enough that it's not intimidating, and you usually do have some commonality with people that you meet. It's small enough to get around. It's not like crazy traffic. It's easy enough to get in and out of town. And like where my office is really just outside downtown, and it's easy to get in and out of downtown without any hassle. And for me, that's really important to have a place big enough to find the things that you want to find to do, but also small enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming and crazy like maybe like Charlotte or some of these bigger cities near us. I think something that is unique about practicing law in Asheville is that there's a lot of pedestrians and a lot of bicyclists in Asheville. And so I see a lot of cases of people walking and bicycling on streets who are hit by cars and injured. And so you get a different kind of case than your normal car accident case. And I appreciate helping people out who are in that situation because I really identify more as a pedestrian. I identify more as a biker than I do as a car driver. I think when people are walking or on their bikes, they should be protected more than people in their cars because they're so vulnerable. They're not able to go as fast, and obviously they're not as safe if they're on a bike than if they're in a car. So I handle a lot of cases where people are crossing in crosswalks in Asheville and get hit, or maybe they're crossing in what's called an unmarked crosswalk, which is at an intersection when two sidewalks meet, even if there are not painted lines. That's an unmarked crosswalk, and you have the right of way in an unmarked crosswalk. So I've handled a bunch of those kinds of cases. I have quite a few biking accident cases. I just handled a case recently where a guy was riding his brand new electric bike across a driveway to a grocery store, and the car was pulling out of the grocery store. It did not look to the sidewalk where the bicyclist was and just pulled out right into him and ran him over. Tire ran over my client. He broke a bunch of ribs. He wasn't terribly hurt, but he was obviously injured after being run over. I handled a case where a woman was crossing not in a crosswalk, and she was unfortunately killed on Merriman Avenue. And even though she wasn't in a crosswalk, we actually got the surveillance footage from the gas station, and it showed the incident, and it showed that the guy driving the car that hit her was going 54 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. And we were able to determine that because I hired an engineer to look at the video surveillance, and he was able to do measurements on the road to show the distance of certain measurements and how quickly the car went from one point to another. And he was able to determine the exact speed of the car. And we used that information from the engineer to show the insurance company of the driver that driver was in fact at fault, because we were able to say that if this person had been going the speed limit, they would not have hit the pedestrian. So even though she wasn't in the crosswalk, we still were able to hold the other driver responsible for the crash. So those are probably the main reasons why I like living in Asheville. I like the pedestrians and the bicyclists that I help. I certainly think it's a great place to raise children, and that's where I raised my two boys. I also think it's just a beautiful place to live. You can see behind me, this is Church Street downtown. It's just a really nice place to be in the middle of downtown, to have this many like beautiful old buildings and big old trees. It's just a great place to be. Raising my kids here feels like it would be hard to do it anywhere else. We have so many nice places to go in Asheville. They play soccer a lot, and there's great soccer teams, great soccer fields. Really enjoy the culture of people playing soccer in Asheville. So I'm going to be here for a while, and if you need any help on your case, if you've been injured in any way, let me know. I'm happy to help. And I want to point out that there are a lot of lawyers who claim to practice car accident law and personal injury law in Asheville, but really they just have one little office here, and their real lawyers are actually in Charlotte or Atlanta or somewhere in Greensboro. I'm an Asheville attorney. I'm in Asheville every day, and it helps to have a local attorney on your case, someone that is familiar with the roads, familiar with the streets, familiar with the police, familiar with the courts and the judges and the juries. So if you need help with your case, let me know. I'm happy to help. I'm right here in Asheville, and you can get a hold of me. Thanks.